online scheduling tool to book an appointment to complete the process at your local office. If you need to apply for a Social Security card and number, start by visiting ssa.gov/card/number-card.
It's really the most common reason people visit our offices. And I won't necessarily drill that down just to replacing a card, but I'll say more broadly, Social Security card related transactions are the most common reason people visit our offices. So when you come to a Social Security office and you see a bunch of people there, most of those people are there for something to do with a Social Security card. And so I want to just make sure that people understand that over the past year or two, things have gotten easier and more convenient with our website in conjunction with, Social Security card businesses, so our transactions. So if you need to get a new or replacement Social Security card, what I would recommend doing is going to our website at ssa.gov. Now you can go straight there, ssa.gov, or you can type ssa.gov/number-card, but it's probably easier just to go ssa.gov and then scroll down a little bit and click on the links for number and card.
Once there, you'll answer a series of questions to determine if you can complete the process online without having to visit an office, start the process online, or start and complete the process at your local Social Security office. If you start the application online and determine you need to come to an office to finish it, you can take advantage of the new online self-scheduling option to select the most convenient office to receive service at.
Yeah, absolutely. You raise a good point that, there's not necessarily an office right next door to you. So cutting out that drive time and the time you spend in the office is a big convenience. And if you choose to take advantage of the online scheduling option, so even if you do have to come in, at least with that self-scheduling option, you're going to have some conveniences there because, number one, you can select the most convenient office to receive service at.
If you need to visit an office with documents, note Social Security cannot accept photocopies. You'll need to bring originals or certified copies. Get the latest in local news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Today, otherwise more clouds than sun. Highs around 77. Winds out of the south, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance for mixed precipitation. Tonight, lows dip down to about 22. Overcast skies. A dusting of snow tonight. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now, 59.
This is your land, the land of opportunity. And nothing should stand in the way of your soybean fields from reaching their fullest potential. Liberty Herbicide from BASF provides the freedom to use across the majority of today's trait platforms, including Enlist E3 and XtendFlex. Plus, excellent weed control and greater application flexibility for unmatched convenience. Experience the freedom of Liberty Herbicide from BASF. Visit yourliberty-herbicide.com. Always read and follow label directions.
Central Illinois' leading online source for local news, police blotter, for the record information, obituaries, and more is DeWittDailyNews.com. Since 2008, DeWittDailyNews.com has delivered fresh, online content to internet readers. From the City Council, to School Board, to the County Board and more, DeWittDailyNews.com covers the local news you expect from the area's #1 local news source, and it's all absolutely free. Now you have even more ways to access DeWittDailyNews.com. Whether you're at your desktop, laptop, tablet, iPhone, or smartphone, DeWittDailyNews.com is delivered to all those platforms. That's right. It's even there on your iPhone and smartphone. The same local news, weather, and sports that's on the full-size edition is on your iPhone and smartphone just by going to DeWittDailyNews.com. If you haven't tried it, why don't you go to Central Illinois' leading online source for local news, police blotter, for the record information, obituaries, and more on your desktop, laptop, iPhone, or smartphone, DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your own home without the maintenance. If you're 55 or better, a beautiful Liberty Village villa could be yours. This is Erin, and I invite you to come take a tour of our move-in ready villa. Click the Liberty Village icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. In studio with me today is a couple of good friends from the Neighborhood Care Center. Mandy Ries is the communications director for the Neighborhood Care Center. Good morning, Mandy.
Good morning, Seth.
Thanks for coming out. And a lady that needs no introduction, Tammy Wilson. Good morning, Tammy. How are you today?
I'm well, Seth. Thank you.
Yeah, you're just so well known. Like people, it's just
Really?
You're just Tammy. It's just
Really?
Tammy. It's
I'm
just
kind
Tammy.
I'm kind of a big deal.
You're a big deal. Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So, Mandy, of course, Tammy. A lot of people know Tammy from the vault. But Mandy,
Yes.
why is Tammy with you here today?
Yeah, so Tammy is actually a very big part of Neighborhood Lab. So it's a platform service of the Neighborhood Care Center where we support and inspire people who have been called to do their own thing in whatever corner of the community that they belong to. So, I mean, we have people from DeWitt County, McLean County, Macon County. I mean, we're kind of spread out, and we have about 25 people that participate in that. And Tammy actually just came on recently as a lab advocate. So she actually helps us with our support groups, and she helps lead them and facilitate them and just helping to support and inspire.
Sure. Tammy, do you mind giving us your journey to the Neighborhood Care Center and the lab in particular?
Yeah. So I've known Cody Monkman, who is also very well known. I don't know that he needs any introduction.
Yeah. a lot of people
I've
that don't need an introduction.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's Clinton.
But for folks outside the Clinton space, perhaps they need an
so
introduction.
I've known Cody for a very long time. Ever since he was just a little goober. He
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I did. He and his sister, his sister and my daughter took dance lessons together. So we would sit out in the lobby and Cody would just chat it up with me.
See, I find that hard to believe.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Isn't that funny?
Cody chatty.
Yeah,
As a little kid, he was just he was like a grown up. But
That's
anyway.
funny.
So anyway, I've known Cody for a while, and he just approached me one day and said, "Hey, we have this group that I think you would really benefit from," and so he invited me to what was called permission dinners, where basically a group of people just got together just to share what they felt like their mission was and how they were getting out in the community and reaching people, supporting people, encouraging people, and helping people. And anyway, that's always been my heart. So it felt like a good fit, and then got into the Neighborhood Lab and got into a group, and it's just it's like we can't do this life alone. We just can't. There's just there's no way. We weren't created that way.
Yeah.
And we need people around us who are, cheering for us and helping us in whatever, God's called us to do. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
So, what has your experience in Neighborhood Lab been like? What do you do? What is your task in the lab?
Yeah. So before I was an advocate, there would be like monthly meetings where we would just get together as a group. There are, how many groups are there now, Mandy?
I don't know. Like 10?
Yeah, like 10 groups of three to four people. And again, just getting together, supporting one another. You might have a meal together, or you might just do coffee or whatever it was. And you just support one another, find out where everybody is in their mission, and, pray together, or, if you've got ideas for people, and just encouraging, and also the idea of accountability, just being accountable. Like you feel like you want to do something, whatever it is, but sometimes you need that little nudge, that little hey, what have you been doing since the last time we met?
Yeah.
How's your mission going, or how, what's happened since we've met?
Yeah.
So that is a huge part of it. Just having that accountability, knowing that, I've said I want to do this, and then having somebody come back and say, okay, what have you done? So that's huge.
Well, and you're such a relationship-driven person, and you connect with everyone that you come in contact with, I feel like. So that feels like a natural fit for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Mandy, it feels like the neighborhood lab of all your programs within the neighborhood care center is kind of the most broad in terms of the impact it can have on an individual. Like there's so many programs that have like specific areas of focus, but it feels like the lab is just kind of a conglomerate of everybody's skills and abilities and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I would say it's very decentralized in that. We actually call it a missional collaborative. So a lot of the lab values that we have, we hold true to that. And so we talk about high support, low control. Which is a huge part of lab. We're just here to support you. We're not here to tell you what to do or how to do it. And I mean, Tammy brought up the don't do it alone. And that's such a big value of ours because we believe that impact happens best when you bring people along with you. So that's part of lab is because if you're out there doing it on your own, you're going to hit a roadblock, you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to want to quit. And so that's why these support groups, and we also do workshops. We do about 4 workshops a year where we take a topic that maybe has come up in lab support groups as an area of frustration or just I want to learn more about that. And we create a workshop around that and we invite the lab participants into it. So that way they know, hey, we're here to support and inspire you. And so we're hearing you and we want to make sure that we support you the best that we can.
Are you leading support groups, Tammy? Are you connecting with just individuals on a one-on-one basis? Like how are you connecting with folks?
Yeah, so I recently started being what Mandy calls a lab advocate. So I am leading a group. I've got 3 ladies that we just met this month. So getting to know one another and getting to know each other's hearts and mission and then the best way that we can support. So yeah, we usually meet once a month just to connect and to find out how everybody's doing.
I don't want you to speak too much to each individual's journey and their struggles because I feel like that's not very nice. But is there are you finding a common theme among these ladies you're talking with, and how are you able to guide and help them and be supportive to them? If you don't mind, diving into that a little bit.
Sure. I mean, I'm new to this, so I'm learning too. But I would say the common theme is everyone has a heart to help. Like that's where it is. Whether it's helping youth or helping the elderly, or I have one lady in my group who she feels like she has a ministry of writing notes, like cards and notes, and mailing them to people, which is a lost art. I mean, people don't do that much anymore.
You're not kidding.
So, and when you receive something like that, it's just a blessing, and you feel encouraged. And so, I think that's the common theme: is like we just have a heart to get beyond ourselves, and like this life. We're here on the earth not for us.
Yeah, right. So you're tapping into what they do well and encouraging them and that sort of thing. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. And I would also say in that too, as a lab advocate, it's just not Tammy giving, it's also receiving. So she has her own calling. And so as a lab advocate, she's just there to make sure the support groups happen, logistically, scheduling. But when you actually get into the support groups, Tammy or myself, in the support groups that I am in, I'm just a participant as well. So I'm sharing my struggles. I'm sharing what I feel like I'm being called to do and how that's going. And I think that's what the most important part is. It's giving and receiving.
How have you received encouragement in this process, Tammy?
I mean, it has been there's been a point in my life where I've gone through some stuff this past couple years, and so just having people around me to support and encourage has been huge. And it's I mean, at the very at a very basic level, but very important level, it's relationship building. Like we're developing relationships with other people that we maybe didn't know before, and we're just developing those relationships, and it's just an encouragement.
Sure.
All the way around. Yeah.
Mandi, is there something you wanted Tammy to touch on, whether it's in her journey or her experience that we haven't gotten to yet?
Yeah, so I think what's really cool about Tammy, when we talk about bringing people along with us for impact, Tammy has been really great at that. Of taking opportunities where we host like a workshop or something where she's able to bring a guest, and she always invites somebody, and because of her invitation, we've actually had 2 people that are now part of the lab. So I mean, I kind of would love Tammy just to share like that for her, and like that invite and how important that is, and just how meaningful it is.
Yeah, for sure. When when you think about how things spread, it's whether it's just supporting one another, and you talk to somebody who talks to somebody who talks to somebody, right? And when you're bringing people on board, you're feeling like a connection with them, and then knowing that they may be struggling in the same way you're struggling, or you just see something in them, like, they could really use community right now. They're kind of in an isolated place or whatever. So you bring them on board, and then all of a sudden, they know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and it just starts spreading. That's our goal, is to reach as many people as we can, to let them know, hey, you're not out there alone. You're not doing your mission alone, that we are here to help and support you.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Something came to mind for me, and I'll let either of you respond, but I know Cody talks a lot about culture, and it sounds like a culture that people want to be in. Like, they experience it once, and they want other people to come in and be a part of that with them.
Yeah, I would say there's something really unique about Neighborhood Lab. There's not a lot of things out there like it. So often when we think about being on mission, we usually tie it to like a local church or a program. And this is really thinking outside the box of like who you've been created to be, and for you to take those steps of obedience into something new and different that's outside the walls of your church or neighborhood care center or any type of structured entity. And that's really empowering for people. And I think like that's what's huge about Neighborhood Lab is we have a lot of different people from all different walks of life, but they have one thing in common, which is they see a need and they want to do something about it.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to do something about it, because so often we can sit and just talk hypothetically about things and being like, well, if I could fill in the blank, but we never take that step of obedience. And that's really what Neighborhood Lab is all about, is helping people who have a calling or something that's been laid on their heart, but actually helping them go and do it.
And it's funny because as you're talking there, the realization of thinking back to what Cody envisioned this program to be and now what it looks like for me, it looked totally different than what it has become, which is fine. I just was pointing that out. But I also wanted to make note that when you talk about the opportunities there for people that have a vision, you think of nonprofits and you think of, they're serving a demographic of people that don't have, maybe the same opportunities or access to things, or they need help at a certain point in life. Whereas this program can reach anyone from the high dollar houses with the nice cars and the big time jobs and the 6-figure salaries to the individual that has the small apartment with the beat up car, and they're just making it week to week, day to day. But those people can meet in the same space and have a big impact. I don't know what you think about that.
No, I completely agree, because I think that's the reality is we were all created for a purpose. We were created specifically to do something. And so that doesn't really tie into your economic status or what kind of job you have or what kind of house you live in. Like none of that stuff really matters. And so I think that's what's really beautiful about it. And I think that's why people that are part of Neighborhood Lab love it, is because there's something refreshing about being in a space with people who get you, who really are on the same page as you and understand, they may not understand your mission or your calling, like what you're trying to do, because they're doing something completely different. But there's still something really sweet about being in a space with people who get it.
I've taken not way too much time. We've spent a lot of time on this. Any final thoughts for Tammy, Mandy, that you wanted her to talk about yourself? Tammy, anything you wanted to say that I didn't get out of you this morning? Anything like that?
No, I think Mandy described it very well. Yeah.
Very good. Mandy, how do folks learn more about the Neighborhood Care Center, Neighborhood Lab?
Yeah, so you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, or you can visit our website at www.neighborhoodcarecenter.net.
That is Mandy Ries and Tammy Wilson with the Neighborhood Care Center, our guests in studio. More with them on the way on the morning show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Tuesday. Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network. Corn starting the day higher. Beans double-digit higher. Wheat also in the green. March corn 409 up 2. May corn up 2.5, 424. And December new crop 459.5 up 2.5. March beans starting the day 1150.5 up 14.5. May beans up 14.5, 1159 3/4, and November new crop 1143 1/4 up 13.5. March Chicago wheat 581 3/4 up 4.5. May wheat 579.5 up 4 3/4, and July wheat up a nickel 582. March bean meal 338.80, that's up 440, and March bean oil 45.03. up 63 cents. Opening numbers on this Tuesday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Take advantage of leap year. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. Yes, we have an extra day this month. So come see our inventory of Chevrolet Trailblazers, Blazers, and the all-new Chevy Trax. It's a sharp, redesigned 5-passenger and affordable front-wheel drive. We also have a larger 7-passenger Traverse and a good selection of Tahoes. Use your extra day wise. Shop us online to see all our inventory. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
We are ready for spring here at Love It Once More Thrift Store in Clinton. This is Connie, and I also wanted to let you know that this month, when you bring us a donation, we'll give you a card worth 10% off your total purchase. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and DoItDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Ryan Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. It's greening up out there, and you know what that means.
St. Patty's Day, lad.
No. Green means go time for buying and selling.
The luck of the Irish be with you.
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
Click the Utterback Real Estate icon on DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guests in studio today, Mandy Ries and Tammy Wilson with the Neighborhood Care Center here in Clinton. You know, we were talking in the break, and even before we got started, we kind of, this theme kept coming up of, relationship-driven people. Tammy, you talked a little bit about it at the start of our conversation. Just we're relationship-driven people, not meant to do that alone. How has that, how have you seen that play itself out in your small group setting here?
Well, specifically, Mandy mentioned that I had invited a couple people to the workshops that we've had, and I've just seen how the two ladies that I've invited are in different phases of life. One has her own business and is doing really well, but again, feeling kind of isolated. And the other one came from a very hurtful place, like she had been I don't know how to describe it, but just she was really burdened a lot with some things that had happened in her life and coming from two totally different places. And I think that's what I love about the lab is that, as Mandy mentioned, there are people from all different walks of life and all different places in life. But there's something about mission, like when you come together and you talk about mission, all of a sudden, these other things just kind of go by the wayside. It's like, okay, let's get to it. What can we do? How can we do this? And so I've seen like this spark in both of their lives. And they're thinking outside the box, like, whoa, what? I could do that in addition to what I'm doing. And then this hurtful place that this person was in, she's actually joined the neighborhood care center, and she's one of the counselors on Thursday. And so she's connected. And that's the other thing, that word hasn't come up this morning, but connection is just, it's huge.
Yeah. I want to ask something real fast because, I think neighborhood care center has a view in the community that it's connected to First Christian Church, and I'm sure you receive contributions and support from all the churches and everything. But do you have to be a religious person to be a part of Neighborhood Lab, Mandy?
No, absolutely not. Neighborhood Lab is for everyone. I mean, we're all neighbors, right? So no matter what your belief system is, there is space for you at Neighborhood Care Center, and we fully believe that. And we talked about this last month, and I think this is a testament to Tammy's invite, is when you allow people to come in to what you're doing and you allow them to observe, they realize that their story matches your story, that there's something similar, that we have a commonality. We may not agree on everything, but there's probably some really big things. And I think we can all agree that we all need each other and that we need that relational network and that connection to support and inspire all of us.
Yeah.
No matter what we believe or where we've come from.
I'm sure you see this a lot in a lot of areas of life you're in, is that, or like parts of life that you're in, is that you're not doing things alone. There's someone out there sharing that experience. They may think they're alone. You may think you're alone. Have you seen that much, Tammy?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's what it is. I mean, when you get someone in the lab and then they realize, oh my gosh, there are other people dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with. And like Mandy just said, like, whoa, we're very similar in these areas, even though we're very different. There's just something about that it just encourages you. It encourages your heart and your spirit, and just gives you a drive to, okay, I can do this. I can really do this. I love it.
I don't mean to do this. I have to cut the conversation off. I feel like we could talk for another 5 or 10 minutes. We could probably talk for another hour off the air. But all that said, Mandy, folks learn more about the Neighborhood Care Center how?
Yep, you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, or find us on our website at www.neighborhoodcarecenter.net.
Mandy, Ries, Tammy Wilson with the Neighborhood Care Center, our guests. Network news on the way.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW.